Let's take a look at the golf swing of Tim Clark, who won the Canadian Open this week. World-class player, small guy, maybe only 5'7". And the interesting thing about Tim is, to give you some idea of his drive and his determination, he has a physical anomaly. He's got a disease. I don't know if it's of the elbows or of the arms, but it's has a name, and I really don't know the name, but basically what it amounts to is that he cannot supinate his forearms at all. If you were to stand out, for example, if you were to stand out and hold your arms straight out in front of you with your palms facing each other, now turn your palms up to the sky, it's called supination, he can't do that. He has little to no ability to turn his forearms up. And his golf swing is built around that very principle, that very situation. You see how strong the left hand is, and to turn that any more neutral, he'd have to be able to turn that around a little bit. And you can see as he takes the club back over here on the right, how that rides just like that. It does. The face is what we would call very shut for most people at this point. And it's because he can't rotate that club. So if you've got a very strong grip and you cannot rotate the golf club open, you're going to get the golf club again at the top. We see the position that he's in across the line here, what we call across the line. If his line's right here, he's pointed over to the right. It always, almost always, starts the club down in an extremely vertical fashion. So he's got a cup left wrist from the strong grip, cross the line at the top, can't roll the arms open. I'm going to show you a model comparison over here. Someone who does it about as differently as you can do it. See, that palm's facing the sky. That's his right arm has been completely supinated, and if I bring those fellas both down to about the same position where the left arm are halfway down, as I think of it, there's Sergio and there's Tim Clark. So you can see that there's two extremely different ways of doing it. But here's the very interesting thing about what Tim does, which I think is unusual. You won't see this very often in a good player, but again, it's based on his condition with his elbows. If I were to trace his hand path here, I'm going to put a little trace on his hands. Okay, so go there, go down a little further, go there, go down a little further, and go there. Do you see the golf club above the hand path? That is something that you will not see very often. If I trace, I'm going to take put a little trace on Sergio here. And we're going to watch his hands come down here. I'm going to trace it down to about there. And I'm going to trace it down here. Now he's going to be in a much more classic situation that you'd see tour players in, because we know for a fact that when the center mass of that golf club gets under the hand path, like that is right there. So if I did a little illustration this way, it might look like this. There was the hand path. That's how much under the hand path the golf club is laying down. Tim, very strong grip, inability to turn that right forearm up, is bringing the club down very, very steeply. It's through his shoulder at this point. Sergio's almost down to his elbow at this point. Hands out a little bit further away for Tim, forearm down like it has to be. The interesting thing about all this is when he comes down, he gets into, because when the forearm now is turned down like it has to be, he's into a very classic impact position. You see two very different swings there, two very different ways of going about this. and yet the impact position is fairly similar. He can't really roll the forearm through and supinate it as the palm up to the sky as we would see in many good players. But he gets to a tremendous balanced position with a full, very full release. So if we saw these two players, you'd see very little difference when they get to impact it. It's just the way that they actually get there to it. So we've got a right arm riding high, looking down, face shut, and the other matching parts of his swing. He's got the weight over on the left, but he's got a very wide takeaway. I always like when someone narrows their swing or keeps themselves centered over the golf ball, but gets a wide move away with their arms. That's a compatible move to me. Stays stacked and goes further to the left side. You see, one of the things that drives down so well for him is that he's over the golf ball, but he goes further through it this way. A lot of amateurs, when they get this much weight on the left side or over the golf ball, they'll back up, but you see no back up here. You see just a tremendous move down and through the golf ball. And like I said, when he gets the club down to where the arms don't have to roll as it to set it up at the top like he does, he's in a classic position. Even there, we're seeing that arm do it right here as much as he possibly can. So that's Tim Clark, and he's won the Players now several times in Europe, Canadian. So just because you're small in stature and you have a physical handicap, so to speak, or something, this is a better turn behind the golf ball with his driver, or it's a better camera angle, one or the other. But it's just that he's almost on his toe there. He comes up, look at the heel coming off the ground so it can twist around, all that power going to the ball. I think he's about 150th on the PGA Tour in driving distance. And he's one of the, I guess he'll be in the top 25 now in the world ranking, so it's pretty impressive.